anyone out there who would listen and help me. The pain of overeating had finally become bigger than the fleeting pleasure it provided. The fear of facing the world without my emotional crutch now seemed small compared to the misery of waking each day with a puffy face, cramping bowel, and bloated waistline. I had hit my rock bottom, and I made a sole decision to get well. The next morning, I woke up and changed my life. I joined a support group for overeaters where I learned that I had a sugar addiction. Where some people can eat a cookie or two and call it quits, my brain was telling me to eat the entire box. I sought out a nutritionist, got myself on a food plan, and decided to cut refined sugar from my diet completely. Not binging became my new normal. I watched awestruck as month after month went by with no sugar. Soon, I was ready to give up other crutches, like nicotine, caffeine, and NutraSweet. The weight fell off, of course, but something much more incredible happened. No longer smoking and eating my anxieties away, the fog lifted. I began to experience fuller emotions and a greater sense of clarity. I started to choose organic, nutrient-filled foods. I flipped my house upside down, tossing out harsh cleaning supplies and chemical-laden beauty products. I went all in on a natural lifestyle. 6 years later, feeling confident and comfortable in my own skin, finally, I winked at a man whose profile I'd come across on a popular dating site. We agreed to meet for dinner, and by the time our waiter brought the menus over, I was intrigued. He was cuter than his photo, not to mention witty and whip smart. He had an exciting job, too, as a creative director at a large advertising agency. I may have been living a healthier life, but I was listless and uninspired by my corporate career. Michael, however, was not exactly smitten with me. He asked if I wanted a cocktail, and I told him I didn't drink. He asked if I wanted an appetizer. I told him I wouldn't have room for my entree. He asked if I wanted to split a dessert, and I told him I didn't need sugar. He asked for the check, and the date was over before it had really started. I went home and actually cried. It's a cliche, but Michael had stirred something in me. I emailed him a thank you note as a courtesy, and though he had written me off as aloof, something in that note struck a chord. Our second date went much better than the first, and that stirring I'd felt eventually grew into a deep love, mutual respect, and a committed partnership. It's why I say our relationship was love at second sight. We were married in a beautiful church wedding in 2007. Less than 3 years later, I was pregnant with our first child. Given my clean lifestyle, it's probably not surprising that I was interested in a natural pregnancy and childbirth. Don't get me wrong. Like many, if not most women, I was scared of a vaginal delivery. Has any woman ever been truly excited about the prospect? But I wasn't particularly thrilled about the alternative either. I had grown up ogling the long raised scar running from my mother's pelvis practically up to her sternum, the result of a cesarean performed using an older surgical technique. So I decided to approach natural birth like a reporter, reading everything I could get my hands on and grilling friends who had already been through it. I was amazed at what I discovered. The more I read, the more I knew that going natural was the right choice for me. I upped my natural living game. More veggies, more exercise, more sleep. I interviewed midwives and doulas and chose my birth team. And because our apartment in the Chicago area was a bit cramped, I made plans to have the baby at a birthing center, midway on the natural scale between an at-home birth and a more conventional feet-in-the-stirrups sort of delivery. Of course, I read all the baby books too, but I couldn't find anything that addressed pregnancy, an actual week-by-week or month-by-month guide from a natural perspective. Most of the advice out there, I realized, was written from a medicalized and fear-based point of view. When I did find a natural treatment or tip, it was usually referred to as a grandmother's remedy. And that's when my husband and I came up with a crazy idea.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.